They're rebooting Thundercats, kids.
Yeah.
You serious?
Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. I'm Mike, and today we're going to have a little discussion. I don't know to say rant, but by now you've seen Thundercats Roar, the new reboot for the Thundercats cartoon. And you've seen, like, you know, the online reaction has been not the greatest. So you've seen all kinds of, I mean, it was inundated by, everybody's making a video about this, everyone's, claiming that, it's, the rise of toxic masculinity caused this, to, social justice warriors and all this other crazy stuff. Everything from that to lazy animation is the reason why we're getting this Thundercats Roar. And I just wanted to, I know I'm a little late on this one, everyone, put their videos out over the weekend on this, but I wanted to give a little time to think about this. I wanted time to actually, give it some thought, because I'm old and grumpy. I mean, my channel's called The Grizzled Geek, so... so I am, and people my age tend to be a little resistant to change. So anytime something, beloved from our childhood gets reimagined or rebooted in some way, we're a little hesitant. We tend to shit on things like that. So I wanted to take a step back and look at this. I mean, this has gone on for quite a while. I mean, things change, right? Every 4 years, these cartoons get redone because they have a new audience. They got to be geared towards, a new audience, bring in new kids, and the styles change, times change, things need to be updated. I get it. But, sometimes it's us mourning the past, and then sometimes it's crap. So you just got to take a step back and look at the difference, all right? So... my take on this is, I have loved cartoons for a while, right? I mean, those 80s cartoons were amazing. I really loved the original Thundercats. But it seems as we go on, the cartoons that I love always get updated and rebooted, and I'm always resistant to it. Always resistant to it. For instance, when, the 90s X-Men cartoon was out, right? That was amazing. The X-Men cartoon was amazing. It brought the comic books to life, right, that I grew up on. And then, that series ends and we get, Wolverine and the X-Men. And the animation style changed, right? Everything started to get a little more anime looking. And I was resistant to it. But it was actually a pretty good series, right? Like when Batman from the 90s, right? That series was amazing, right? It was highly stylized. They had Superman in the same fashion, Justice League, all these characters, and then later on we got Batman Brave and the Bold, right? Which I was like, oh man, why didn't they stick to that same amazing art style, But, and I gave it a chance, and the series wasn't bad, right? That's, for what it was pretty good. Like the Clone Wars, I loved the Clone Wars. So I was super excited about Rebels when it first came out, and I watched the first couple episodes. I'm like, this is not for me. This is for kids. The Clone Wars was aimed towards adults, and this Rebel show is crap. I don't care about the characters. This is for kids. It's a kids show. But then I heard about some of the stuff they're doing in upcoming seasons, and I went back up with it, and Rebels turned out to be amazing. I mean, Rebels was awesome. It took that first season to get get his feet under it and then decide what kind of show it wanted to be. So then, I look at Teen Titans. Right now, Teen Titans Go is drawing a lot of comparisons. There's Thundercats Roar with Teen Titans and what happened there. And Teen Titans was a great series. I mean, it had tons of fans. People loved that series. You fell in love with those characters, right? I mean, they weren't exactly the characters from the comics, but I mean, you got to know those characters, and it had tackled some serious themes in that series, and it was amazing. So when it became Teen Titans Go, I didn't care. I was like, this. I was mad. What are they doing with my Teen Titans? This sucks. How could they do this to it? And then it took a while afterwards, but checking out some Teen Titans and being a fan of the comics and realizing how much material they have to pull from all across the DC universe to make fun of and joke about. The series is really funny to the point where I'm actually looking forward to this Teen Titans Go movie. Not just to support Nicolas Cage as Superman, which is awesome, but I'm really looking forward to the series. I think it's funny. And it wasn't so much that the new series was crap, it was that I was mourning the loss of Teen Titans, right? Because Teen Titans was a great series, and I wanted that series tone. I love those characters, and then Teen Titans Go is a completely different thing. And I just hate the fact that it's, we had to give up one to get the other. So, and then recently last year we had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reboot, right? Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been rebooted, I mean, I don't know how many times, right? But I was an old Eastman and Laird black and white comic collector back in the day, right? So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was kind of special to me back in the day. And when the cartoon came out, I was like, okay, well, this is not, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to me, but it was good. I mean, I like the characters. It was obviously geared towards kids. They all got their own different colored, face masks and a whole bit. So, and I like the movies. I like the little cheesy, guys in rubber suit movies. So, in every iteration they came out, the one thing they got right was they got the characters right? That was the main thing. These four brothers, their personalities, who they were as characters, they got that right. So the animation looked a little different. Sometimes it was CGI, sometimes it wasn't. But even up into the latest movies with Michael Bay, now they weren't good movies. I'm not saying that, especially the second one. Oh my God. But the one thing you can say about those movies is they got the characters right. You watch that first movie, those guys, those brothers, that's who they're supposed to be. Those are those personality. They got the personality and the connection and the emotion with them right. If only they had them right in a good movie, that would have been amazing. But this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they totally changed things up. They changed. Leo's not the leader anymore, and Raph is different. And more than just the look, right? Obviously the looks are going to change. The animation style is going to change. They changed the weapons, which I don't understand why they did that. It was kind of strange. But the personalities are different. They're different. They're like I don't know. Mikey and Donnie are like caricatures of themselves, and then Leo and Raph are like kind of a mismatch of the two personalities. So it's just weird, and it's just not for me. It's not my Ninja Turtles anymore. Sad, but it's true. So, but it's not geared towards me. So, and that's fine. They want a new audience. They want to change things, but they just making these changes, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why we change certain things like that. It was a problem I had with the new Voltron series. Now, people love the new Voltron series. My daughter loves the new Voltron series. But my biggest problem was they changed the characters up, right? Keith was no longer the leader of the team, and he had Lance's personality. Lance was a goofball who was completely different. They got rid of Sven, which is fine. But it wasn't that the story was bad, it was that they changed who these characters were. Now, the great thing about Voltron is you realize that these are early versions of these characters, and they tend to grow up over the first season into the second season into the characters we knew from the original series. And like season 2 pretty much fixed everything I had a problem with Voltron, and it was a good series. I gave it a chance. At first, it was new, and I'm like, nah, they're, you know, my daughter was like, you gotta check out this Voltron series with me. I looked at it and I was like, this is crap. I'll show you what Voltron is. And I showed her the 1984 Voltron series, and then I realized how dated that was and how much kind of crap that was. So, yeah, so that way I learned my lesson there. All right, so maybe not. That would not hold up. So, going into looking at my first impression of Thundercats Roar, the same as everybody else. I'm like, oh my god, this is what is this? This is not Thundercats. Yeah, the reaction online has not been good, and like everybody else, I was like, this is what did they do to my Thundercats? What is this crap? Now, I had my issues with the 2011 reboot, but it was, I mean, definitely it was good. The story was good. I mean, I would have done a few things a little bit differently, but I liked how they brought the old voice actors back for small roles. The characters who were the characters. It just, I think, for me, again, much like the Voltron one, it was a little earlier in the life. So the Lion-O was him becoming Lion-O, not starting off as the Lion-O we know, or we knew from the 80s. So there was that. So I looked at this and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. And I watched the little, behind the scenes of the series with the producer, and man, I don't know what they were thinking with this whole thing. He says he's a fan of the original series, and he's like, series lends itself to humor, and I'm like, I don't see what he's talking about there. All right, so let me touch on a few points. First off, the animation. Everyone's comparing this to Steven Universe and to some of the modern style of cartoon, and that style is fine, right? Like Steven Universe is a good show, right? Like Adventure Time, that's got kind of that silly animation, but even from like back, animations are going this way for a while. I mean, look back, even like Chowder and some of these, where they had that same kind of squished, I don't know, what would you call it, the rounded anime style. But those were original cartoons, right? Like, you look at Rick and Morty, right? That's not the greatest animation in the world. It's very stylized, but it's unique, right? They're not adapting something else. So, I mean, the fact that I think the big problem we have is not the style of animation, which I'm not a huge fan of, but we know it works, right? We know Steven Universe works. We know Rick and Morty works. We know Adventure Time. We know all these cartoons that work with this kind of style. But those were, like I said, those were original cartoons. If you want to do a funny cartoon in that original style, do an original one, right? Why are you going to adapt a property like this? And I think it's just so different than what we're used to because we don't have anything to compare it to, right? I mean, you look at Adventure Time, there's no, there wasn't an original Adventure Time where it was an actual, adventure cartoon to compare it to. That's what we're used to. That's what we saw. That's from the original. So being able to compare this to the two other examples of it really makes the animation of this stand out and really doesn't fit, in my opinion. And switching up to a humorous to cartoon, I just don't see it. I just don't, yes, the whole concept of Thundercats is goofy. It is. But this is why everyone was like, holding bated breath for the live action movie. I'm like, they're never going to make a live action movie of Thundercats. It's just the concept that doesn't work in live action. They're not going to paint somebody orange and have them out there in blue tights. It's just not going to work, right? But animation is where we could thrive, where a series like this would thrive. So, yeah, my initial reaction to it was one of horror and disgust, and I was just like, I chucked it in the bin with all of the other reboots that, highly stylized reboots that doesn't resemble anything from my childhood. And then I'm like, all right, let me give it a time. Let me think on this. Is it really that bad, or is it just my, mourning the loss of Thundercats of old? And after having reflected on it for a few days, I'm pretty sure this is bad. I mean, it's just, I have nothing against the style of art animation, against the humorous animation, but why reboot something if it's going to be so far afield of the original, right? I mean, the whole reason why you're rebooting something is because it had a fan base to begin with, right? I mean, the whole reason why you're rebooting something, you don't reboot something that sucked or that that no one cared about. You reboot something like this. You have this property of Thundercats. You want to do something with that property. Why would you change it? Why would you change the source material that much when the fans of that original source material are the reason why you're doing this in the first place? If you wanted to make this style of cartoon and a funny one, you can make an original one, right? Why are you dragging up something like this to reboot it? I mean, I think that's my problem with the whole thing, is not the animation style, the humor, or anything like that. It's the subject matter. Why? This is not Thundercats, right? This is like a parody of Thundercats, right? It's not like, and I will say, it's kind of like Teen Titans Go, and then they took a serious cartoon, changed it into something funny, but the difference is Teen Titans Go is a parody of Teen Titans and the DC universe as a whole, right? That's what makes it funny. It's got a lot of material to pull from, and if you know that material, if you're a fan, a DC fan, watching Teen Titans Go make fun of itself and that universe, it's enjoyable, right? It's hilarious, it's funny. This is a small property, right? You're not going to get the same material out of Thundercats, so why do it? It seems to me that it doesn't make any sense. And, I understand the online hatred of this. I mean, some of it is taken to extreme, conspiracy level of extreme. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not prescribing any political agenda to this whole thing, but it just seems like it's a bad idea, and I don't know why you would do it. Because, you could say it's not for me, and you're right, this is for kids. But if it's not for me, why are you using this subject matter, right? Why, if it's for a new generation, new kids, why not come up with a new concept? Thunder Dogs or whatever, some new concept, and go a funny, stylized animation with that. Why are you using this old material, right? I mean, it's not Thundercats for a new generation, because this isn't Thundercats. This is, something different. So, while, cartoons do change, over time, new audience comes in, they got to market it to a new line of kids. All the cartoons in the 80s were there to sell toys, right? I bought those toys. Those toys were awesome, right? They're action figures. I can't imagine as a kid today wanting toys based on this cartoon. Looking at it, I'm just like, I don't get it. And then in that behind the scenes, he's talked about the opening of the original Thundercats for his inspiration. And the opening to the original Thundercats was amazing. I mean, it is the best. I mean, if only all the animation of that series stood up to the intro. Intro was one of the best of all the 80s cartoons. And then you see the new intro, and you're like, all right, it's got it's catchy music. I like the music, but it's not Thundercats. I don't know what this is. I don't know who they're marketing this towards. I mean, in the end, this isn't for me, right? It's not marketed towards me. It's not ever meant to be towards me. But it's people my age that are showing this to their kids, right? Only my kids are teenagers, right? They've already seen. They grew up with my Thundercats, because that's what I, forced on them when they were little. Like, oh, these cartoons suck. Watch these. So they grew up with my He-Man, my Thundercats, my G.I. Joe, and luckily there was always that resurgence of toys that they could get, of those old cartoons. So they liked some of the new stuff too. But, so this is beyond them. This is not for them. But if I had younger kids, I don't know if I want them to see this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's you want to watch a funny cartoon, watch something else. But I mean, this is not Thundercats. This is not what the if they wanted them to be into Thundercats, it's not what I would want to show them. So yeah, that's my issue with this. It's just not. I don't understand the reason why they would do that. Why they would take this kind of source material and change it so drastically for no reason, right? I don't have a problem with the animation style. I don't have a problem with a humorous cartoon. If they want to do that, make an original. But taking these old properties and totally changing them around like they did, like I put this in the camp of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where it's not for me anymore. It's not my Ninja Turtles. It's not my Thundercats, and we have to accept that. This is what this is what the kids are getting nowadays, and it's sad. It's sad that that you realize you saw the potential in these properties. We realized the potential when we were kids. We saw what they could do with Thundercats. Even with the 2011 reboot, we saw what they could do with Thundercats. We have plenty of examples of good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and some bad ones too. But we have a lot of good examples of it out there. And so you got your choice out there. What you're gonna watch. So again, I will say, I don't like it. I think it's goofy, but then again, it's not geared towards me. I just don't understand who it's geared towards and why they use the property to do it. So that's my 2 cents on Thundercats Roar. I'm not gonna make fun of the producers, man bun, which it's not a man bun the way. That's a top knot. It's not. Just grow it out a little bit longer. You can tuck it under for a man bun. But I'm not gonna make fun of that or go into the whole. This is SJW's fighting against toxic masculinity is why we get this cutesy cartoon. I think that's good. All taking it a little too far. I think it's just our nostalgia for what we loved as kids and seeing it totally changed around is the problem we had. Now, like I said, if this would have come out and it had nothing to do with Thundercats and the same animation style and it was funny, we'd all give it a chance, just like Steven Universe and all the, and all those. Okay, KO, let's go. All those, and we'd laugh and we'd enjoy it because we'd have nothing to compare it to, right? It's not a change of something we knew as kids, and this is, and that's why I don't think it's going to do well. But that's just my 2 cents, my little rambling. I know I'm late on this subject and everybody's already chimed in on it, but I just wanted to let everybody know what I thought because I can only yell at the wall so long. I got to yell at the camera every once in a while. So, thanks for listening to Ramble, guys. As usual, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and as usual, all the links down below. And I'll see you next time, hopefully with a happier topic to rant about. Thank you.